Tonight on Ctv3 News, Joseph Ryan Bunna alleges that Guatemalan authorities tried to extort him. Belize continues its battle against rising screwworm infestation threatening humans and pets. But as the fight continues, Minister of Agriculture cautious optimism. Caribbean leaders gather in Belize for International Good Deeds Day Conference. And we'll tell you about the development of Belize's national health strategy. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Tuesday, August 26, 2025.
World shifts to regional supply chains, Belize is poised to lead. This is where blue innovation meets green ambition, and orange creativity thrives. Join us for the Belize Investment Summit 2025, September 3rd to 5th at the Sunset Caribe in San Pedro. From agribusiness to aquaculture, from renewable energy to digital services, from tourism to trade, this is the future of regional integration. And it starts here. Whether you're returning home, expanding regionally, or entering new markets, Belize welcomes you. Why Belize? Why now? Belize Investment Summit 2025, Bridging Markets, Building Resilience, September 3rd to 5th at Sunset Caribe, San Pedro. Visit investmentsummit.bz to register and be part of shaping the investment frontier.
¡Prepárate, Belice! El regreso más esperado está aquí.
El ritmo que traigo es azúcar, azúcar para ti.
¡Cumbia Kings!
Como mami, mami, yo te vengo a decir las cosas tan lindas que tú quieres.
Cumbia Kings en vivo este sábado 30 de agosto en el majestuoso People Stadium Orange Bowl. La cumbia que marcó tu vida vuelve para encender la fiesta más grande del año. Cumbia Kings. General 75, VIP 150, Platinum $200. Una noche única, un concierto histórico. Boletos ya disponibles en Cuellos Distillery, Rustic Roof, Divari, Orange Bowl Town, Marías Bake Shop y Coffee House, Amor Turquesa Boutique, Shell One Stop. Y la aplicación QuiPass, disponible en Android y iPhone.
The new designs for Belize's new banknotes have been revealed. But why are only 2 national figures featured on the banknotes? The individuals honored on our new banknotes have received Belize's highest distinction, the Order of the National Hero. As of January 2025, only 2 persons have been awarded this title. The Right Honorable George Cadle Price, regarded as the father of the nation, who was the first Prime Minister of Belize and renowned leader in our road to independence, and the Honorable Philip Stanley Wilberforce Golson, one of the longest-serving members of the House of Representatives, known for his unwavering stance on protecting and preserving Belize. By featuring these heroes, we honor their invaluable contributions to the development of our nation. New look, same value, heroes' legacy. Learn more at www.centralbank.org.bz. A message from the Central Bank of Belize.
Good evening. With your newscast, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Jaden Gamis. The case of Joseph Budna has taken another dramatic turn. Budna, no stranger to controversy and long recognized as a polarizing figure due to his past legal troubles and outspoken reporting cycle, is now speaking out from his prison cell in Guatemala. In a chilling account, he is doubling down on allegations that Belize police officers were the one who abducted him last Friday from outside the Orange Walk police station and delivered him across the border into Guatemalan custody. Bunna told Belize media today that he saw one of the officers involved and insists he can identify him. He describes a harrowing 3-hour drive from Orange Walk to Arenal, where he says he was relentlessly beaten with guns. According to Budna, he was left with fractured fingers, broken ribs, and a severe head injury.
Police came out from the Orange Walk police formation because I was resisting while they were beating me in my head to knock me out. Gun butt and baston in my head. That is when police in uniform came out, and these men identified themselves as police officers to these police. So there was nothing that the uniform police could have done to this one here. So they grabbed me, they picked me up from my 2 feet while I was knocked out, and they dragged me into the SUV Equinox sky blue, and as a result they placed me on the seat, and I was placed, one of them sit on top of my head. They handcuffed me to the front because they couldn't hit my hand to the back. As a result of that, they had my mouth taped. Now they taped my mouth and they held one of my feet and they tied one of my feet. And while I was fighting to get some air because the tape was covering my nose, and they butt me into my head because I was screaming. And that is when they covered my mouth. I managed to lose the tape a little bit with pushing my mouth on the chair because one is sitting on me. I can't move because two heavy man, dark of complexion, is sitting top of me, and I'm handcuffed, and the handcuff is under my chest, and I'm face down on a chair, and the vehicle is heavily tinted. And while they sped off to an unknown direction, they traveled approximately 3 hours and change with me, and every time I fight to ask for help and some water, they beat me with a gun butt into my ribs, into my face, into my head. I passed out about 2 to 3 times, and when I got up, I was in Arenal.
He further claims that before handing him over to Guatemalan officials, the men robbed him of his money and belongings.
Between midnight and 1 o'clock, they arrived with me at Arenal, and they hand me over to 3 National Civilian Police. The vehicle could not cross the Belize side. So they were on Belize side when they received me on a football field in Arenal. And they took me, I told the guys there my money, my chain. They popped my chain, they said you can't carry no money. They took about $800, my chain, they popped it off of me. They took my tennis and dashed inside the gray SUV, the blue sky SUV that they bring me in, and they left. Now all of them still had on masks except one of them in a white t-shirt that I am able to identify. I was badly beaten, I couldn't even walk.
Once across the border, Bona alleges Guatemalan authorities attempted to extort him, saying he would only be allowed to return home if he paid them a large sum of money.
They took me to the Metro Police Substation. They had me walk into some dark area across a river, a bridge where it meets a river, the Mopan River, and then into a National Civilian Police vehicle. They took me to Metro, and Metro officials tried to negotiate with me to give them 30,000 Belize, and they would allow me to go back home because this is illegal. There is not a proper procedure. I told them I don't have that money. Well, we have to proceed. So they proceed, and they took me to hospital and I have fractured ribs. I have fractured fingers. My head is burst. I was finally beaten when these guys kidnapped me.
These explosive claims have added fuel to the already swirling controversy, as Belizean authorities have categorically denied involvement in this matter. It is known that Bunda's alleged kidnapping is currently under police and foreign affairs investigation. Belize, like other neighboring countries in the region, is currently grappling with a growing infestation of the New World screwworm, a dangerous pest that poses risks to both humans and animals. Since the first case was confirmed in late 2024, officials have recorded nearly 400 cases nationwide. The Ministry of Agriculture has launched a nationwide education campaign to raise awareness and teach Belizeans how to protect themselves and their pets. Although the screwworm first posed a major risk to the cattle industry, a worrying development of the infestation in our country is that almost half of the reported cases involve pets, particularly dogs.
Bueno, los datos que tengo corresponden a la semana 33, o sea, los datos de hace 2 semanas. Teníamos un total de casos acumulados de 393 casos. De esos, el 48.6%, o sea, 191 casos, están en mascotas, en perros. Y estos son mascotas en casa. Perros callejeros, muy poco, la mayoría son mascotas en casa. Entonces esto es bastante alarmante, porque si nosotros tenemos mascotas en casa, se supone que debemos de estar cuidándolos, asegurarnos de que tengan muy buena salud, se alimenten bien, y que si tienen algún tipo de herida, pues hay que llevarlos a la veterinaria o tratar de curarlos.
The parasite spreads when the adult fly lays hundreds of eggs in even the smallest wound. Once hatched, the larvae, known as the screwworms, burrow into and consume the live tissue.
Porque entendamos un poco el ciclo de vida de esta plaga o esta enfermedad. Generalmente el ciclo de vida ronda por ahí de los 21 días. Después de que las moscas aparean, copulan, buscan un huésped, ponen los huevos, en 12 horas estos emergen, las larvas empiezan a comer, van pasando de fases. A medida van engordando, van cambiando de fases, de fase 1, fase 2, fase 3, o L1, L2, L3. Cuando ya llegaron a L3, que ya están bien gorditos. Caen al suelo. Y una vez caen al suelo, se entierran y empiezan a pupar. Y ya luego, como a los 7, 10 días, sale otra mosca. Entonces, ¿por qué para nosotros es importante que cuando haya cualquier sospecha, se notifique de inmediato? Porque nosotros podemos llegar, extraer, remover todos los gusanos, y ahí podemos ver qué fases de gusanos hay, en qué fases están. Entonces nosotros podemos saber si digamos, hay una alta presencia de gusanos en fase L3 y también en fase L1. Quiere decir que no solo una mosca puso huevo en esa herida. Hubieron más moscas, entonces hay más. Y si sacamos, digamos, de fase 3 un menor número, quiere decir que ya cayeron. Ya hay gusanos en el suelo enterrados que ya van a nacer en mosca dentro de 10 días. Entonces, por eso es importante notificar y revisar a diario. En la mayoría de los casos, nosotros tenemos mascotas y los tenemos encadenados. Las mascotas tratan de digamos, zafarse del collar, y eso lo que hace es el roce que le hace, expone la piel. Y puede ser un hairline crack que tenga en la piel, y ahí puede llegar la mosca.
Treated, the infestation can be fatal. Although Belize has not yet reported any fatalities linked to the screwworm, there have been 2 human cases reported thus far.
La mosca, o que con esa larva, es que cuando la mosca Pone los huevos, no pone solo un huevo, pone hasta 300, 350 huevos en un lugar. Así cuando empieza ese gusano, o sea, esos gusanos para afectar a la persona, no es un gusano nomás que se está comiendo, es cienes que te están comiendo. Y dependiendo de dónde está la herida, puede afectar a la persona hasta fatalmente. De suerte que los casos acá en Belice, me parece que son en la pierna de la persona, en las extremidades bajas de las personas que son las dos que fueron afectadas, que se depositaron los huevos. Y es más fácil tratar con esos. Han habido casos en Centroamérica que han muerto personas donde en partes, por ejemplo, de la boca se depositaron los huevos y luego nadie detectó la infección hasta que era muy tarde. Sí, una muchacha murió, me parece que es en Costa Rica. Nos explicaron.
Pero era una persona que tenía condiciones especiales. Entonces,
pero el punto es de que puede suceder.
Exacto.
De la boca depositaron atrás de la garganta la mosca y empezó a comer el tejido de la garganta de la persona.
Wow. Y eso es mucho más difícil poder identificar.
Exactamente. Sí. Y especialmente como es una persona especial.
Exacto.
Y luego la persona falleció eventualmente. Exacto. Así puede ser fatal dependiendo del caso.
While the infection can prove fatal for both humans and animals, the ministry says animals, like humans, can be treated and saved if they get infected. However, owners must act quickly in these cases.
En este caso, acá en Belice, ha infectado. Y esa es otra cosa que tenemos que darnos cuenta. Cuando la mosca, o sea, cuando la larva de la mosca infecta a los animales no están necesariamente condenados. Mientras que se saquen todas las larvas, mientras que se le atienda al animal, mientras que se le cierre la herida, ese animal puede recobrar, puede regresar a salud perfecta. Pero hay que sacar todos los gusanos, porque no más un gusano adentro del tejido del animal o del ser, ese puede afectar porque está comiendo a la persona en vivo, ¿no?
Experts warn that wounds caused by screwworm infestations appear different from ordinary injuries. They often emit a foul odor, ooze a fluid, and deteriorate quickly.
Hincha la herida, saca una sanguaza, tiene un olorcito la herida, porque lo que pasa es que los gusanos que están adentro, porque no solo es un gusano, no es como beeform.
¿Y desde el primer día que uno recibe esa herida podría ser infectado?
O sea, si está expuesto, sí.
Potencialmente.
Si está la mosca por ahí, puede
Potencialmente. Depende todo de cuánta infestación de moscas hay en el lugar donde está usted. Pero suelta un olorcito la herida porque son cienes de gusanos que están adentro de la herida y sueltan también su defecación. Son seres vivos, ¿no? Y tiene su olorcito. Causa hinchazón también, claro, y tiene su olorcito. Así son maneras de que se puede detectar. Me imagino que igual que beeform también causa un poco de picazón y se siente incómodo la herida y la hinchazón de la persona, porque son cienes de gusanitos pequeñitos que empiezan y luego empiezan a crecer más. Más crece, claro que más se hincha, pero también más afecta el tejido porque luego comen el tejido. Así, de esa manera se puede identificar la herida cuando lo tiene alguien. So, a wound is going to have a bit of swelling. It's going to be a bit smelly because you have hundreds of worms potentially in there that are eating away, hundreds of larvae that are eating away. Let's remember that this fly doesn't just deposit one larva, it deposits hundreds. And all of those larvae that are in the wound are eating away. They start off very, very tiny, like pinheads. You barely can see them. And then as they eat flesh, they get larger. And the larger they grow, the more they defecate. So the more swelling you have, the more liquid oozes out of the wound, the more smell it might have at the same time. At that point, they're larger and they're probably easier to extract. But in human beings, I don't think we should reach that point. As soon as you detect some kind of unusual wound, one that has water that is running, pus that is running, liquid coming out of the wound, one that is very uncomfortable, the swelling and all of that, and that it's a bit smelly. All of that are signs, all of those are signs. And you'll have a little pinhole, by the way, in the wound because the larvae inside need to breathe. Okay. They breathe with their rear end. So that hole in your skin is where they are breathing.
The ministry reports that all districts have been affected, with Toledo and Cayo recording the highest number of cases, while the northern districts report the lowest.
Que Belice en su total, o sea, el área geográfica beliceño, todos los distritos hasta ahorita ya tienen infestaciones de la mosca. Las índices más altas de infectación están en el distrito de Toledo y en el distrito del Cayo. Pero todo distrito ha reportado caso del gusano barrenador ahorita. Entonces, quiere decir de que la mosca tiene presencia por toda parte de nuestra área beliceña. Así, todo distrito, o sea, toda la población de todos los distritos tiene que estar en la alerta. En primer lugar, para el reviso de sus animales. Inclusive y primordialmente las mascotas, porque lo que explicó Willy hace ratitos es que el índice más alto de afectaciones es en mascotas.
To respond, the Ministry of Agriculture, in collaboration with other government departments, has begun training farmers, veterinary personnel, and health officials on how to properly diagnose and manage cases in livestock, pets, wild animals, and even humans.
Though speaking about the home remedies, not even in animals it's recommended that we do this. It's best that you call and report it to the vet or to Baja or to the Ministry of Agriculture, because they have been trained and they know how to address these cases.
All right.
And then we are also training the farmers on how to do the proper extraction and also how to use the medications that are being recommended to follow up with the treatments. So currently, AICA is working in collaboration with OIRSA and the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Agriculture. We have done, yes, some sensitization, but in terms of the actual training for the treatment of persons that are infested, that is something that is going to happen in the next couple of weeks. We are working on that because we are going to bring some professionals from other countries who have been dealing with this for the past months and I think for the past year, so that they could advise properly to the Ministry of Health what is going to be the ministry. They already have their protocol. It has already been developed. They have their protocol for attention of new world screwworm cases in humans. It's now just the actual practical part of it, of putting that protocol in
the specific
place.
details relating to the cases and so on. But let's also bear in mind that the Belize as a country has adopted what we call a One Health approach in dealing with this. That is, we know that the screwworm is going to affect animals, any warm-blooded being. So our ministry, the Ministry of Agriculture, which monitors animals that are on farms, the Ministry of Health, which has to do with human beings, and the Ministry of the Environment, that has to do again with wild animals, forestry and so on. All of these agencies work together.
The Ministry of Agriculture and its partners continues to encourage vigilance, swift reporting, and professional intervention to help contain and eventually eradicate the pest. Now, as the ministry continues with its sensitization efforts across the country on the ongoing New World Screwworm infestation, Minister of Agriculture Honorable Jose Mai today shared cautious optimism in the fight against the pest. With the U.S. having now reported its first case of human infection, Minister Mai says there is hope that it could trigger a stronger and faster regional response to eradicate the infestation, including the production and release of sterile flies, which has proven effective in the past.
Local soil heads, right? And we're experiencing it now. Local soil heads, right? And we're experiencing it now. We have burned sugarcane fields for 40 years, but we don't only burn the fields, we burn the soil. And there's organic matter, organisms that live in the soil, so we destroy the organisms. So your soil health is poor. So you may apply fertilizer, and the increase in production may be so little, right? Because you don't have organic content in the soil, your moisture holding capacity is restricted, your cation exchange capacity is reduced, and then when you have a lot of compaction, you have poor soil percolation, aeration, and all that affects your soil health. So soil health is another very important topic that we are going to address. I have asked ICA to invite one of the best renowned scientists that has worked with soil health out of University of in the US. He's a very good expert. I listened to that presentation, just a mind opener, right? And it lets you look at things from a different perspective. Education is important, right? Capacity building. And so I said I want the extension officers to be trained, I want the cane farmers to be trained, I want the cattle producers, the grain growers to be trained as what is soil health and how do we manage it. That will be something very, very, very good.
Minister Mai reaffirmed Belize's commitment to working with regional and international partners, while continuing domestic educational campaigns, farmer training, and early detection measures to contain the widespread within the country. Now, coming up next, Belize introduces updated legislation to regulate money lenders and enhance borrower protections. Stay tuned.
It's here once again. Bigger and better. Fiesta FM 21st anniversary. Come and celebrate with us this September 6th, one of the biggest events of the year, Fiesta FM 21st anniversary.
It's all happening at Central Park at 7 p.m. There will be lots of giveaways and entertainment to the next level.
Come and dance the night away with the legendary, all the way from Dangriga, Maime Martinez. Alongside the mighty Super Furia Band. And on the wheels of steels, all the way from Chetumal, Quintana Roo, Mexico, Felipe Lopez, DJ Diablio.
Arriba, 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 las manos arriba, arriba, las manos arriba, arriba, arriba. Aquí está el Diablillo y este es un desastre. Y al que no le gusta.
So you don't want to miss this one-of-a-kind event. It's going to be big. It's going to be great. It's Fiesta FM 21st anniversary. See you there.
The government of Belize has unveiled the Money Lenders Amendment Bill 2025, a legislative update aimed at strengthening oversight of the money lending industry and safeguarding consumers' interests. Building upon the framework established by the Money Lenders Regulations of 2017, the new bill introduces several measures to ensure transparency and accountability among lenders. Under the proposed legislation, all individuals or entities wishing to operate as money lenders must register as formal companies and demonstrate a minimum paid-up capital of $50,000. Existing lenders are granted a 12-month window to meet these requirements. Failure to do so could result in the suspension or revocation of their licenses. The bill also emphasizes transparency, mandating lenders to clearly disclose all loan terms and costs to borrowers before agreements are signed. Penalties for non-compliance are substantial, with fines up to $5,000 per day imposed for any undisclosed or excessive fees. For lenders with assets exceeding $1 million, the legislation requires annual submission of audited financial statements and detailed shareholder information. Auditors are expected to rotate every 7 years and must adhere to rigorous professional standards. Additional provisions include a new process of winding down lending businesses, replacing the previous fixed interest cap of 48% with a prescribed rate set by regulators. The bill also grants enhanced enforcement powers to regulatory authorities and establishes a maximum permissible rate of interest, fees, and charges at 144% annually, or the equivalent rate for any given period. The bill is set to become a law once it is officially published by the Minister of Finance. These changes aim to foster a more transparent, fair, and well-regulated lending environment in Belize, protecting consumers and ensuring the financial sector's integrity. The news of the Moneylenders Amendment Bill quickly made it on social media today, with one media house suggesting that the proposed amendments to Moneylenders Act and regulations would increase the maximum interest charged by moneylenders from 48% to 148% per annum. Today, the Central Bank of Belize categorically stated that this is a gross misinterpretation of the facts and does not accurately reflect the proposed reforms. On the contrary, the intent of the amendments, says a central bank, is to place stricter limits to the total interest, fees, and charges that moneylenders may impose on borrowers and to simplify the disclosure of costs to consumers. The existing law includes multiple limits which permit moneylenders to charge up to 48% per annum in interest, as well as up to 16% per month in fees and charges, 192% per annum, which, when combined, could result as well as an effective annual cost to borrowers of up to 240% per annum. The proposed amendments introduce a consolidated cap on total interest, fees, and charges to a single rate of 144% per annum, almost half the total allowable limit currently in place, according to the central bank. This single rate enhances transparency for borrowers and brings up greater clarity to the cost of borrowing. Moneylenders will also be required to provide standardized disclosures that will include a breakdown of interest, fees, charges, total repayments, penalties, and annualized percentage rate, among others, prior to loan acceptance. The amendments also provide mechanisms for enforcement actions and penalties against unlicensed and/or non-compliant entities. The central bank reiterates that the proposed amendments are intended to ensure that all money lenders operate fairly, transparently, and that consumers are protected from excessive and predatory lending practices. The public is advised that the amendments remain in draft form and are currently undergoing consultation with licensed money lenders. The central bank further reiterates that there has been no official change to the rate that money lenders are permitted to charge under the current legislation. Belize is in the process of developing a national community health strategy as indicated by recent community consultations and support from the Ministry of Health and Wellness and UNICEF Belize. This new strategy will complement the country's broader Belize Health Sector Strategic Plan 2025 to 2026 to 2034 and the existing Adolescent Health National Strategic Plan to 2019 to 2030, both of which emphasize community engagement and strengthening health services for all Belizeans. The development involves input from diverse stakeholders, including community residents, government ministries, civil society, and the private sector. With that in mind, today the Ministry of Health and Wellness held the first national stakeholder forum for the National Community Health Strategy.
What this forum is seeking is to obtain feedback, experiences, recommendations, and observations from various stakeholders that the Community Health Worker Program works with. And the reason for that is that we have seen challenges for this program over the years, gaps, barriers pertaining to sustainability, human resources. And so this requires a multi-sectoral collaboration for us to strengthen a program that is so vital for primary health care. And another reason for this stakeholder forum today is for us to formalize the formation of a national community health technical working group for the purpose of gaining that collaboration from the wider sectors. And then lastly, it is through this type of forum and other activities that we can leverage financial support and in-kind contributions that can help in regards to some of the challenges that we face. Community health is very important. We have seen various issues across the country as it relates to accessing health services, reaching the health services, and ensuring that equitable health services are provided to various communities. And because of some of these challenges, we rely very much on our community health worker program.
According to Kathleen Azueta Cho, Technical Advisor for the Health Education and Community Participation Bureau under the Ministry of Health and Wellness, there are many challenges that rural communities are facing. The hope is to address those issues via.
And over the past months, from April, we have been doing a situational analysis and working with communities and gaining their input. And these are communities that range from having health services and others that might not have a health facility in place. And what we found with the focus group discussions particularly are issues, community needs that range from, water and sanitation to accessibility to the provision of medication and contraceptives and pap smears. And we have also looked at service delivery. The amount of time it takes for persons to reach a health facility or how often they reach a health facility. Some people will share that it's very difficult because of transportation, getting on 2 buses to get to a health facility. And so these experiences shared are very important for us to see where these gaps are. And this community health strategy will help to further reinforce what we could do to improve the quality of care that we are providing through this community health worker program.
Belize's coastal continues to grapple with the mounting threat of sargassum, a recurring environmental problem that has plagued the country for several years. The seaweed, which washes ashore in massive quantities, not only disrupts tourism, but is now causing alarming damage to marine ecosystems. In San Pedro, conservationists recently raised the alarm after reports of dying marine life, including sharks linked to sargassum accumulation. The mats of seaweed block sunlight and deplete oxygen in coastal waters, creating conditions that suffocate fish, corals, and other marine species. Speaking on the issue today, Minister of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise, Honorable Jose May, confirmed that his ministry has been invited to the Dominican Republic to learn about techniques being used there to repurpose sargassum within the agriculture sector.
We have been invited to DR, to Dominican Republic, to look at what they are doing with sargassum and understand that they are doing something with it for agricultural purposes. Again, my CEO returned from a trip and he was telling me that they reminding us again to visit the DR to look at what they are doing there.
Since Monday, August 25th, the Good Deeds Day Caribbean Leaders Conference is being held in Belize City. Good Deeds Day is a global movement that brings together millions of people and organizations in over 115 countries annually to participate in acts of community service and kindness. Since its inception in 2007, Good Deeds Day has expanded into a global platform that inspires volunteerism, teamwork, and empowers people to do good. According to Hannah Wujinu, Director of International Good Deeds Day, the conference brings together leaders from around the Caribbean for 5 days. The leaders will participate in workshops, learning, networking, sharing ideas, strategizing on growth, and building partnerships.
So this conference strengthens the initiative of Good Deeds Day because, one, we're bringing together appointed Good Deeds Day leaders that are coming from the different countries in the Caribbean. So this is a conference that we actually do in 5 regions of the world. We have appointed leaders from 115 countries about who are responsible for growing Good Deeds Day and growing volunteerism in their countries. So today, and actually all week, we have leaders from the Caribbean representing about 12 countries. And we also have a lot of these local partners here. So when we come together, we have a lot of different sessions around different topics, different projects, strategy, collaboration. It's an opportunity to learn what's happening from another island, another country, so that we can maybe do that in our own to strengthen relationships and to really level up the work that we're doing as a community, as a region, and as a world.
April 14th, 2024, for the first time, Belize participated in the global movement of Good Deeds Day. The Office of the Special Envoy for the Development of Families and Children, in collaboration with the Excel Caribbean Foundation, were the key partners in making this possible. The first year saw heartfelt initiatives which embrace kindness across the country. And this year, the initiative grew significantly as schools, youth groups, communities, and organizations led impactful projects through Belize.
It was something that I have been researching. Belize is my home. It's my heartbeat, and I'm always looking for what I can do next for the country. And I found Good Deeds Day, and I approached the Office of the Special Envoy in seeing how we can make this and implement it. We had a meeting to see, and she said, okay, let's go for it. And along with my colleague, Nicole Kane, we decided, let's implement it. We did it last year, and it just took off. It was amazing. It's just telling you that our Belizeans, that's what we are. That's how it's in our DNA. We're always helping each other. And so we moved on from that. We had over 200 participants, which was amazing. And then this year, we expanded that far more to involve even the youths came out in droves volunteering. Good Deeds Day is all about volunteering, it's giving back. So it's just, I'm just overwhelmed with excitement and appreciation of how the Belize community have been doing so much to give back.
What were some of the activities that they did on Good Deeds Day?
They cleaned up parks, they cleaned up the beachfront, they fed the homeless, they went to senior homes to visit. We refurbished a parish hall. We had 50 students from SJC, JC came out, and those students worked extremely hard. We partnered with St. John's Vianney in helping cleaning up, getting the parish hall painted. So those were some of them. And we're all from Corozal down to Dangriga.
And what exactly is considered a good deed? Well, just about everything.
So we have a lot of things that have to do perhaps with climate action and the environment. That's one of the bigger issues that this region and other regions are facing. So there's a lot of projects to educate our youth and people around taking care of the environment, and also some more project focused like picking up trash, picking up our beaches. But you also have other things going on in April and throughout the year involving youth, education, workshops, elderly, special populations. We also want our populations to also be volunteers, not just to be the receivers, right? So all kinds of different projects happen around April, but the idea is that they continue. So a lot of these projects, most of them are happening throughout the year as well.
The conference ends on August 29th. The Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise, in partnership with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations through its Global Soil Partnership, today announced the official launch of the Soil Doctor training program in Belize. The 5-day training of trainers led by FAO soil expert Juan Carlos Rey Brina brings together agricultural extension officers and key soil conservation stakeholders. Once certified, participants will serve as trainers to help build a national network of soil doctors or community champions who will work directly with farmers to promote soil health, conservation, and sustainable land management. The Soil Doctor program, a flagship initiative by the FAO, addresses soil degradation while supporting climate-smart agriculture and national food security. It provides extension officers with hands-on tools to help farmers diagnose soil problems, apply conservation measures, and improve productivity in a sustainable way. Minister of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise Honorable Hossein Mai, speaking on the initiative today, said that the program is timely and much needed in Belize, particularly given the ongoing challenges facing farmers.
Local soil health, right? And we're experiencing it now. We have borne sugarcane fields for 40 years, but we don't only burn the fields, we burn the soil. And there's organic matter, organisms that live in the soil, so we destroy the organisms. So your soil health is poor. So you may apply fertilizer, and the increase in production may be so little, right? Because you don't have organic content in the soil, your moisture holding capacity is restricted, your cation exchange capacity is reduced, and then when you have a lot of compaction, you have poor soil percolation, aeration, and all that affects your soil health. So soil health is another very important topic that we are going to address. I have asked ICA to invite one of the best renowned scientists that has worked with soil health out of University of in the U.S. He's a very good expert. I listened to that presentation, just a mind opener, right? And it lets you look at things from a different perspective. Education is important, right? Capacity building. And so I said I want the extension officers to be trained, I want the cane farmers to be trained, I want the cattle producers, the grain growers to be trained as what is soil health and how do we manage it. That will be something very, very, very good.
The program, according to the Ministry of Health, underscores Belize's commitment to sustainable agriculture and environmental stewardship, building capacity at both the institutional and community levels to ensure long-term resilience and responsible land use. Now, there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
It's here once again. Bigger and better. Fiesta FM 21st anniversary. Come and celebrate with us this September 6th, one of the biggest events of the year, Fiesta FM 21st anniversary.
It's all happening at Central Park at 7 p.m. There will be lots of giveaways and entertainment to the next level.
Come and dance the night away with the legendary, all the way from Dangriga, My Maid Martinez. alongside the mighty Super Furia Band. And on the wheels of steels, all the way from Chetumal, Quintana Roo, Mexico, Felipe Lopez, DJ Diablillo.
Arriba, 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 las manos arriba, arriba, las manos arriba, arriba, arriba. Aquí está el Diablillo y este es un desastre. Y al que no le gusta.
So you don't want to miss this one-of-a-kind event. It's going to be big. It's going to be great. It's Fiesta FM 21st anniversary. See you there.
The Department of Transport, DOT, is advising all persons who currently hold valid permits for the transportation of wide loads to visit the Department of Transport headquarters in Belmopan for an amendment to their existing permits. Permit holders are kindly asked to present their original wide load permits along with the official receipts. The department will prepare an updated permit reflecting the revised conditions in line with the recent press release aimed at improving road safety and minimizing traffic disruptions. This amendment process ensures that all wide load movements, including the transportation of houses and oversized structures, are conducted in accordance with the updated regulations, which restrict such movements to the hours of 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. daily. Compliance with these updated permit conditions is mandatory. Failure to comply may result in enforcement actions, including fines, suspension of permits, and vehicle impoundment. Two representatives of the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security, and Enterprise are currently attending a low-carbon workshop in Taiwan. Joni Grimm, Projects Coordinator, and Lewin Tsib, Agriculture Statistician in the MFASE Policy Unit, are in Taipei, Taiwan, attending the workshop that centers on reduction, sequestration, and recycling to promote low-carbon agriculture transformation. The workshops covers low-carbon production, carbon measurements, and resource recycling, including crop rotation, diverse planting, organic farming, carbon emission tracking, carbon trading, and agriculture waste reuse. Combining theory and practice, the workshop supports allied and friendly countries in enhancing carbon sequestration, advancing sustainable agriculture, and applying innovative solutions to boost industry value. The objectives of the workshop include promoting low-carbon agriculture for sustainability and combat global warming, boosting carbon sequestration, and advocating carbon trading to enhance value. The workshop will address issues such as how carbon trading mechanisms promote low-carbon farming and boost industry value, and how resource recycling improves waste management and sustains ecosystems. The workshop is being held from August 26th to September 4th. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Wednesday, August 27th, here on Ctv3 News and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at www.ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. From all of us here at CTV3, thank you for watching and listening, and have a good night.